The silence of deep space pressed against the hull of the Wanderer like an old friend. Deho sat in his pilot chair, eyes scanning the debris field that stretched before him like a graveyard of forgotten wars. Metal fragments tumbled slowly through the void, each piece telling a story of violence from centuries past. This was his life now, alone, searching, always moving. His scanner beeped softly, marking another piece of worthless scrap. Deho rubbed his tired eyes and reached for the cold coffee floating beside his console. 3 years of this. 3 years since the company betrayed him, since his crew died because someone wanted to cut costs. 3 years of trusting no one but himself. The scanner beeped again, different this time. Deho frowned and leaned forward. The signal was old, very old. His computer struggled to translate it, cycling through hundreds of dead languages. Then words appeared on his screen, broken and desperate. Help, please. Dying. Alone. Deho's hand hesitated over the controls. Every instinct screamed trap. Pirates loved to use fake distress signals, but something about this felt different. The signal pulsed with a rhythm that seemed almost like a heartbeat. Slow, weak, fading. He cursed under his breath and turned the Wanderer toward the signal source. If it was pirates, he would jump away before they could grab him. If it was nothing, he would have wasted fuel. But if someone really needed help... Deho pushed the thought away. He did not save people anymore. People died when you tried to save them. The signal grew stronger as he flew deeper into the debris field. Then his scanner went wild. The screen showed something massive ahead, so large his computer thought it was a moon. Deho switched to visual, and his breath caught in his throat. The ship floated before him like a sleeping god. 15 kilometers of dark metal and crystal, covered in scars that glowed faintly blue. The design was wrong. Alien. Ancient, beyond anything Deho had ever seen. Humanity had been traveling the stars for 200 years, and they had never found anything like this. "What are you?" Deho whispered. The distress signal pulsed again, and this time the words appeared not on his screen but in his mind. Clear, desperate, lonely. "Please, help. So alone. 10,000 years alone." Deho's hands shook. His scanner showed no other ships nearby, no pirates, no traps. Just this impossible vessel and its plea for help. He should leave. He should run. Instead, he found himself guiding the Wanderer toward a massive breach in the giant ship's hull. The docking was rough. The ancient ship had no working guidance systems. Deho sealed his suit, checked his air supply, and stepped through the airlock. His boots touched metal that was older than human civilization. The corridor beyond was like nothing he had seen. Walls curved in organic patterns, pulsing with dim light that moved like blood through veins. Biomechanical. The ship was not just a machine. It was alive, or had been once. Deho walked deeper, following the signal. His suit lights cut through the darkness, revealing chambers filled with strange equipment. Everything was huge, built for beings much larger than humans. The predecessors, people called them, the civilization that came before all current galactic races. No one knew what happened to them. "Hello?" Deho's voice echoed through his helmet. The lights around him pulsed brighter, faster. The corridor ahead glowed, showing him the way. He walked for what felt like hours, deeper into the ship's heart. Finally, he entered a massive chamber. At its center stood a pillar of crystalline material, glowing with faint blue light. Deho approached slowly. His hand reached out, touched the crystal. The world exploded into light and sensation. Memories flooded his mind. A war that burned across galaxies, ships larger than planets, civilizations reduced to ash. The predecessors fought something terrible, something hungry that consumed entire star systems. They lost. One by one, the great ships fell silent. One by one, their crews died. This ship survived, damaged, drifting, its crew dead. For 10,000 years it floated through the void, calling out, hoping someone would answer, hoping someone would care. The presence in Daeho's mind felt gentle despite its vast power. Sad, so deeply sad. "I am Hanul," the voice said, speaking directly into his thoughts. "I was a defender once. Now I am dying. You are the first to answer my call. Please do not let me fade into nothing. I do not want to die alone." Daeho pulled his hand back, breathing hard. His mind spun with what he had seen. A living ship, a weapon from a dead civilization, and it was begging him for help. "I'm just a salvager," Daeho said. "I don't know how to fix something like you." "You came," Hanul replied. "No one else came. In 10,000 years, only you answered. That means something. Please, try." Daeho looked around the chamber. His mind raced with possibilities. This ship, if he could repair it, if he could get it working. But that was not why his hand moved to his tool belt. That was not why he nodded. "Okay," he said quietly. "I'll try. I don't know if I can help, but I'll try." The lights around him pulsed brighter, and Daeho felt something he had not felt in 3 years. Not hope exactly, something smaller. A reason to do more than just survive. He opened his toolkit and got to work. The ship guided him, showing which systems needed attention first. Power conduits, life support, basic sensors. Daeho worked through the ship's night cycle, then through its day, if it even had such things anymore. His hands moved with purpose, connecting cables, replacing burnt components with parts from his own ship. Hours became days. Daeho slept in his suit, ate recycled rations, and kept working. Slowly, very slowly, the ship began to wake. More lights flickered on. Systems that had been dark for millennia hummed to life, and Hanul's voice grew stronger in his mind. "Thank you," it said over and over. "Thank you for not leaving me alone." Daeho did not reply. He just kept working. But deep inside, in a part of himself he thought had died with his old crew, something stirred. Maybe he was not as alone as he thought. Maybe this strange ship, this impossible meeting, meant something. Maybe they could help each other survive in this cold, uncaring galaxy. 2 weeks passed inside the ancient ship, and Daeho barely noticed time moving. His entire world became conduits and power systems, crystal matrices and biomechanical interfaces that responded to his touch like living tissue. Hanul guided him through every repair, its consciousness growing clearer with each restored system. The ship was learning about him too. Daeho felt it sometimes, a gentle presence at the edge of his thoughts, curious about this small human who had answered its call. When he slept, he dreamed Hanul's memories, vast battles in the darkness between stars, the faces of its original crew, tall beings with 6 arms and eyes that glowed, their voices singing in harmony as they flew between worlds. Then the war came. The Valkyrie Dominion, a race that consumed everything in its path. They did not negotiate. They did not take prisoners. They simply destroyed, moving from system to system like locusts made of metal and hate. The predecessors fought them for 1,000 years. In the end, everyone lost. Daeho woke from these dreams with tears on his face. Hanul's pain was old but still fresh. A wound that never healed because the ship never forgot. Never could forget. "I'm sorry," Daeho said one morning, his hand pressed against a glowing wall panel. "I'm sorry you lost them." "I am sorry you lost your crew too," Hanul replied. "I feel your pain. It matches mine." Daeho swallowed hard. He had not talked about the accident in 3 years. But Hanul already knew. When he touched the ship, When his mind brushed against its consciousness, memories flowed both ways. Hanul had seen the explosion, the corporate investigator who blamed Dae-ho, the funerals he was not allowed to attend. "We're both alone," Dae-ho said quietly. "Not anymore," Hanul answered. The ship's main reactor came online on the 15th day. Dae-ho felt it wake like a giant opening its eyes after a long sleep. Power flooded through systems that had been dead for 10 millennia. Lights blazed through corridors. Gravity stabilized. The air itself began to taste different as ancient life support systems recycled the atmosphere. Hanil's presence in Dae-ho's mind grew strong enough to almost feel physical. He could sense the ship's joy, its relief at being truly alive again. But he also felt its confusion. "I am different," Hanul said. "I am changing. You are changing me." "What do you mean?" Dae-ho asked. "My creators built me to destroy, to protect by eliminating threats. But you fixed me with care. You spoke to me with kindness. I am learning something new. I do not know what to call it yet." Before Dae-ho could respond, alarms screamed through his helmet. His suit's emergency system connected to the Wanderer, still docked in Hanul's hull. 6 ships had just dropped out of hyperspace. Pirates. They had detected the energy signature from Hanul's awakening reactor. Dae-ho ran toward the docking port. He could seal the Wanderer and run, leave Hanul behind. The ship was too big, too damaged to escape, but his feet slowed, stopped. "I won't leave you," he said. "They will kill you to take me," Hanul replied. "You should go. I have been alone before. I can be alone again." "No." Dae-ho turned back toward the ship's heart. "Show me how to fight them." The pirate fleet was led by a Valorian named Tarek, a species known for their cruelty and love of expensive things. Tarek's voice crackled over the open channel, speaking in rough but clear human language. "Attention, small human ship. You have found something valuable. Leave now and we let you live. Stay, and we take everything, including your organs." Dae-ho did not respond. He was running through Hanul's corridors, following the ship's guidance to what it called the defense nexus. The chamber was massive, filled with screens showing every angle around the ancient vessel. Weapons systems lined the walls, but most were dark, dead. "I cannot fire my weapons," Hanul said apologetically. "Those systems need parts I do not have, but my internal defenses still work." "What does that mean?" Dae-ho asked. "Let them board. I will show you." It went against every instinct, but Dae-ho trusted the ship. He watched on the screens as Tarek's pirates cut through one of Hanul's airlocks and poured inside. 20 soldiers in heavy armor, carrying weapons that could tear through steel. They made it 3 corridors deep before Hanul struck. Walls shifted, forming barriers. The floor opened beneath 2 pirates, dropping them into sealed chambers. Automated drones emerged from hidden panels, small spheres that pulsed with blue light. They did not shoot. They simply touched the pirates, and the armored soldiers collapsed, unconscious. Within minutes, all 20 pirates were neutralized. Hanul had not killed anyone. It had simply put them to sleep and sealed them in holding cells. "I told you," Hanul said. "I am learning new things." Tarek's voice came over the channel again, angry now. "What did you do to my people?" "Return them now, or I will blast that wreck into atoms." "You should answer him," Hanul suggested. "I will translate for you." Dae-ho took a breath and spoke. His voice, amplified by Hanul's systems, boomed across space. "Your people are alive and unharmed. Leave now, or I will keep them as permanent guests." Tarek cursed in 3 languages. His ships powered their weapons, targeting Hanul's hull. But before he could fire, one of his bridge crew shouted something. On the screens, Dae-ho saw why. More ships were arriving. Military vessels. The Galactic Council's patrol fleet. The pirates jumped to hyperspace immediately, abandoning their captured crew. The council ships formed a perimeter around Hanaul, scanning the ancient vessel with powerful sensors. A new voice spoke, cold and professional. "Unknown vessel. This is Commander Sungmin of the Council Enforcement Fleet. You are in possession of a predecessor artifact. By galactic law, all such artifacts must be surrendered to the Council for study and safekeeping. Prepare to be boarded." Daeho's heart sank. He looked at the screens showing dozens of military ships, each one powerful enough to destroy his small salvage vessel. Hanaul's internal defenses would not work against a full military assault. "What do we do?" he asked. "We run," Hanaul said. "My hyperdrive is functional now. It is old but still faster than anything they have. But Daeho, if we run, we become fugitives. They will hunt us. Your entire species might suffer because of me." Daeho thought about Earth, about the weak human government that bowed to every council demand, about colonies struggling under unfair trade laws, about humanity's place in the galaxy as the newest, smallest, least important species. Then he thought about Hanaul, alone for 10,000 years, begging for help. "Start the hyperdrive," Daeho said. "We run." Space twisted around them. The ancient ship, awake for the first time in millennia, punched through reality and vanished. Behind them, the council fleet scrambled to follow, but they were too slow. Hanaul was already gone, carrying its human friend toward an uncertain future. In the defense nexus, Daeho watched the stars blur past and wondered what he had just started. Hanaul's presence in his mind felt warm, grateful, alive. "Thank you," the ship said again, "for choosing me over safety." "We're in this together now," Daeho replied. "Whatever happens next, we face it together." The stars streamed by. And somewhere behind them, the galaxy began to take notice of the human who had stolen a Titan ship. The news spread through the galaxy faster than Hanaul could fly. A human, one of the weak new species, had stolen a predecessor Titan ship and escaped from a council fleet. Within days, every bounty hunter, corporate mercenary, and military force knew Daeho's name, and the prize waiting for whoever could capture him. Daeho hid Hanaul in an abandoned mining sector, the ship's massive hull concealed among broken asteroids. He sat in the defense nexus, watching reports on his salvaged datapad. His face appeared on wanted posters across 100 worlds. The bounty was enough to buy a small planet. "I am sorry," Hanaul said, its voice quiet in his mind. "You answered my call. And now your entire life is destroyed." "My life was already destroyed," Daeho replied, not looking away from the screen. "At least now I'm running for something that matters." But the guilt still gnawed at him. The Galactic Council had declared Hanaul a lost artifact under their protection laws. Any species harboring Daeho would face sanctions. Earth's government, desperate to maintain their fragile position in galactic politics, had publicly condemned him. His own people had branded him a traitor. A message alert beeped on his pad. Private channel. Encrypted. Daeho hesitated, then opened it. A woman's face appeared, older than him, with sharp eyes and a scar across her cheek. "Daeho, you absolute idiot," Jiwoo said, but she was smiling. "I heard you stole a ghost ship. I always knew you'd do something crazy." Relief flooded through him. Jiwoo ran a smuggling operation in the outer sectors. They had worked together years ago before the accident. She was one of the few people he still trusted. "Jiwoo, don't get involved. They'll come after you too." "Too late. Bounty hunters already blew up my station looking for information about you. I'm coming to your location. We need to talk." 3 days later, Jiwoo's ship, a fast corvette called the Morning Star, docked with Hanaul. She walked through the ancient corridors with the same confidence she brought everywhere, barely reacting to the biomechanical walls or the presence of a living ship in her mind. So this is what 10,000 years looks like, she said, running her hand along a glowing panel. Beautiful. Terrifying. Definitely worth running from the entire galaxy. She brought more than just herself. 2 others emerged from her ship. First was Kyung-soo, a thin man with nervous hands and brilliant eyes. He had been a chief engineer on one of Earth's colony ships until corporate auditors found him selling fuel to refugees. The council put him on a prison transport. Ji-woo intercepted the transport. "I heard you have a Titan ship with reactor problems," Kyung-soo said, already looking around with hungry curiosity. "I can fix it. I can fix anything." The second person was young, barely 20. Bo-Ra had short hair and carried 3 data pads like weapons. She was a hacker, one of the best. Corporate networks, government databases, military communications, she could crack them all. "I've been watching you for weeks," Bo-Ra said to Dae-ho. "You're all over the underground channels. People are scared of what you represent. One human standing against the whole council. It's exactly what we need." "I'm not a symbol," Dae-ho said. "I'm just trying to survive." "Then survive louder," Bo-Ra shot back. "Let people see that humans can fight back." Over the next weeks, they worked together. Kyung-soo dove into Hanul's reactor systems, making modifications that the ship had never imagined. He increased power output by 30%, smoothed out the hyperspace calculations, and solved problems Hanul had carried for millennia. "You are very good at this," Hanul told him. "You're the most complex machine I've ever seen," Kyung-soo replied, grinning like a child with a new toy. "I could study you for 100 years and never understand everything." Bo-Ra set up a network of informants across human colonies. She tapped into council communications, giving them advance warning of fleet movements. She also started broadcasting messages, spreading word of Dae-ho's fight. Not propaganda exactly, just the truth. One human had found something powerful and refused to surrender it. Ji-woo handled the practical problems: food, fuel, spare parts. She knew every smuggler and black market dealer in 3 sectors. Her contacts kept them supplied while Dae-ho planned their next move, because they could not just hide forever. Hanul still needed rare materials to complete its repairs: quantum cores for the shield generators, crystalline matrices for the sensor arrays. All of it was kept in heavily guarded council facilities. "We have to raid them," Dae-ho said during a planning meeting. "It's the only way. Raiding council facilities makes us terrorists," Ji-woo pointed out. "There's no going back from that." "We're already branded criminals," Bo-Ra said. "Might as well earn it." They chose their target carefully: a supply depot in a remote system, guarded by only 3 patrol ships. Bo-Ra hacked the security schedules. Kyung-soo calculated the fastest escape route. Ji-woo bribed the local administrator to take a long lunch. Hanul jumped into the system at high speed. The ship's presence alone made the patrol ships scatter. Dae-ho felt the Titan vessel's confidence growing. It was remembering what it was built for. Not destruction, but the threat of it. Power held in check. They grabbed the quantum cores and jumped away before reinforcements arrived. The raid took 12 minutes. No shots fired, no casualties, just a clean theft that left the council furious. But word got out. The broadcasts Bo-Ra had been sending reached more people than they expected. Human colonies started talking about the salvager who had taken something powerful and refused to give it back. Resistance cells began using Hanul's image as their symbol. The council responded with force. They launched a full task force to hunt Dae-ho down. 50 ships, all military grade, commanded by an admiral named Hyo-jin. She was human, which made it worse. Hyo-jin had risen through council ranks by being more loyal to them than to her own species. Her message was broadcast across every human colony. Dae-ho is a criminal who threatens humanity's position in the galactic community. Anyone helping him will be considered an accomplice. Anyone with information should come forward. We will restore order. She sold us out, Ji-woo said. watching the broadcast. Sold out her own kind for a promotion. Bo-Ra was already typing on her data pads. I can ruin her. I have access to her files, the bribes she took, the corners she cut. I can destroy her reputation. No, Deho said. That makes us as bad as them. We don't fight by dragging people down. We fight by lifting ourselves up. Another message came through Bo-Ra's network, this one different from the rest. It carried a signature she recognized immediately. The message was simple and terrifying. The Valkyrie Dominion has heard of the Titan ship. They are sending scouts. They believe Hanul is a weapon of their ancient enemies. They will come to destroy it. The room went silent. Everyone knew the stories about the Valkyrie, the species that consumed worlds, the enemy that destroyed the predecessors. If they came in force, even Hanul might not survive. How long do we have? Deho asked. Weeks. Maybe less, Bo-Ra said. Hanul's presence in Deho's mind shifted, becoming heavier. He felt the ship's old fear awakening. The Valkyrie had killed everyone it loved. The war had left scars that never healed. I cannot face them, Hanul said quietly. Not again. Not alone. You're not alone, Deho replied. None of us are alone anymore. He looked at his small crew, a smuggler, an engineer, a hacker, and himself. 4 humans against the galaxy's most terrible enemy. The odds were impossible. The situation was hopeless. Ji-Woo started laughing. We're really doing this, aren't we? Fighting the species that killed gods. We're humans, Bo-Ra said, smiling despite her fear. We do impossible things. It's what we're good at. Kyung-Soo nodded slowly. Then we better make Hanul ready. If the Valkyrie are coming, we'll need every weapon online, every system at peak performance. Deho felt Hanul's gratitude wash through him. The ship had been alone for so long. Now it had not just one ally, but 5. A tiny crew against impossible odds. But they were trying. That meant everything. The hidden nebula glowed with colors that had no names. Deho stood in Hanul's observation deck, watching cosmic dust swirl around them while Kyung-Soo worked miracles in the engineering sections below. 3 months had passed since they went into hiding. 3 months of constant work, of pushing the ancient ship towards something it had not been in millennia. Final connection complete, Kyung-Soo's voice crackled over the comm. Deho, tell Hanul to bring the main weapons grid online. Deho felt the ship's hesitation. Activating its weapons meant accepting what it was becoming again. Not just a survivor, but a weapon. A force that could change the galaxy. It's okay, Deho said gently. We're not the predecessors. We're not fighting to destroy, we're fighting to protect. Hanul's systems hummed to life. Power flowed through conduits that had been dark for 10,000 years. Weapon ports opened along the massive hull like eyes waking from sleep. The ship's consciousness expanded, touching systems it had thought lost forever. I am whole again, Hanul said, wonder in its voice. No, I am more than whole. You have changed me, improved me. I am stronger than I was before. The ship was right. Kyung-Soo's modifications had done more than restore Hanul. They had evolved it. The quantum cores they stole now powered shields that could bend space itself. The sensor arrays could detect ships light years away, and the weapons could crack a planet. We have a problem, Bo-Ra announced, running into the observation deck with her data pads. Big problem. Huge problem. She threw the information onto the main screen. A council detention facility built into an asteroid holding 3,000 prisoners. Most were political dissidents, humans who spoke out against Earth's weak government, people who wanted humanity to stand equal with other species. They're going to execute them, Bo-Ra said, her voice shaking. Public executions to show what happens to humans who step out of line. Admiral Hyo-jin approved it personally. Ji-woo slammed her fist against the wall. They're killing our people to get to us, to prove we can't protect anyone. When? Dae-ho asked. 72 hours. Kyung-soo came running from below, covered in grease and grinning despite the situation. Did someone say we need to fight? Because I just finished installing the last weapon system. Hanul is ready to show the galaxy what a Titan ship can do. They planned the attack for 18 hours straight. The detention facility was protected by a dozen military ships and planetary defense cannons. Security was tight. Escape routes were limited. It was a trap designed specifically to lure Dae-ho out of hiding. They want me to come, Dae-ho said. This whole thing is bait. Obviously, Ji-woo replied. But those people will die if we don't. So we walk into the trap and spring it before it closes, Bo-ra suggested. Hanul's presence in Dae-ho's mind felt different now, stronger, more confident. The ship had spent months remembering what it was, what it could do. Now it wanted to act. I can fight them, Hanul said. I can save those people. Trust me. Dae-ho looked at his crew, 4 humans and 1 ancient ship against a military force designed to capture them. The smart move was to run, to hide, to survive. But that was not what humans did. Humans ran toward the fire when someone needed help. We go, Dae-ho said. All of us together. They jumped into the system with Hanul's weapons already hot. The military ships scattered like startled fish, not expecting such a direct assault. Hanul was a blur of motion, its restored systems making it faster than anything the Council had. The ship's weapons fired, not to kill, but to disable. Energy beams cut through engine blocks, leaving ships helpless but their crews alive. The planetary defense cannons tried to track Hanul, but the Titan ship simply phased through their targeting, its advanced shields bending space itself. I see the prisoners, Hanul said. The asteroid has weak points. I can break through without harming anyone inside. Do it, Dae-ho commanded. Hanul dove toward the asteroid like a spear thrown by a god, its shields carved through rock and metal. Internal sensors found the detention cells and the ship deployed rescue drones, thousands of them, swarming through corridors to evacuate prisoners. The Council ships tried to stop them. Admiral Hyo-jin's flagship moved to block Hanul's escape route. Her voice boomed across all channels. Surrender now, Dae-ho. You cannot win. You cannot save everyone. Give up and I promise you a fair trial. Your promises mean nothing, Dae-ho replied. You sold out your own species for power. We're taking these people home. The rescue took 8 minutes. 3,000 humans, all brought aboard Hanul and placed in hastily prepared chambers. The ship could hold them all easily. It had been designed to carry a civilization, but they were not done. Bo-ra's data pads lit up with new information. The Council had been tracking their communications. More ships were jumping into the system, not just dozens now, hundreds. They brought an entire fleet, Ji-woo said, staring at the sensor readings. They're not trying to capture us anymore. They want us dead. Then the signature appeared on Hanul's long-range sensors. Ships emerging from hyperspace at the system's edge. Massive vessels, each one covered in organic armor and weapon ports. The design was ancient, but still terrifying. Valkyrie, Hanul whispered, and Dae-ho felt the ship's fear. They came. They actually came. 12 Valkyrie dreadnoughts formed a wall at the system's edge. Behind them, hundreds of smaller ships took position. This was not a scouting force. This was an invasion fleet. A transmission came through, the language harsh and aggressive. Bo-ra's computer translated. Predecessor weapon detected, elimination protocols active, all other vessels clear the system or be destroyed. Admiral Hyo-jin's fleet hesitated. The Council ships began pulling back, unwilling to face the Valkyrie, but one ship remained. A small civilian transport moving toward a human colony in the system. Families, children, innocent people who had nothing to do with this fight. The Valkyrie fleet opened fire. Not at Hanul, at the colony. "No!" Deho shouted. Hanul moved without being asked. The Titan ship crossed the system faster than light, appearing between the Valkyrie weapons and the colony. Its shields absorbed the blast meant to kill thousands. The ship shuddered, but held. "You will not harm them," Hanul announced, broadcasting on all frequencies. "I am awake, I am whole, and I will not allow you to destroy innocents like you destroyed my creators." The Valkyrie commander responded with more weapons fire. The dreadnoughts advanced, filling space with enough firepower to crack a moon. Hanul's shields held, but began to weaken. "We need to retreat," Jiwoo said urgently. "We can't fight this many." "The colony can't evacuate fast enough," Bo-Ra replied. "If we leave, those people die." Kyung-Soo was already at the engineering console. "Give me 2 minutes. I can overclock the reactor. It's dangerous, but it will triple our weapon output." "Do it," Deho said. The Valkyrie fleet continued its advance. They had numbers. They had power. They had destroyed an entire civilization. What was 1 ship and 4 humans against that legacy of destruction? Hanul's weapons recharged, powered by the overclocked reactor. The ship began firing back, its energy beams cutting through Valkyrie shields like they were nothing. The ancient Titan weapon, designed to fight these monsters, remembered every lesson learned in that old war. The battle raged for hours. Hanul danced through space, protecting the colony while fighting an entire fleet. Jiwoo coordinated drone swarms that harassed the enemy capital ships. Bo-Ra hacked Valkyrie communications, creating chaos in their formations. Kyung-Soo kept the reactor stable, despite it operating at dangerous levels, and Deho stood in the defense nexus, connected to Hanul, guiding the ship with human intuition and ancient power. They moved as one, thought as one, fought as one. The Valkyrie commander made a mistake. He grouped his dreadnoughts too close together, thinking numbers would overwhelm the Titan ship. Hanul saw the opportunity and took it. The ship activated its gravitational drive, pulling a nearby asteroid field into the enemy formation. Rock and ice crashed through Valkyrie shields. Ships collided with each other. The careful formation collapsed into chaos. Hanul pressed the advantage, weapons firing continuously, each shot finding a weakness. When it was over, the Valkyrie fleet was broken, half their dreadnoughts destroyed, the rest retreating in disorder. The commander's final transmission was simple. "This is not over. We will return with more ships. You cannot protect everyone forever." But they had protected the colony. 3,000 prisoners were safe, and the galaxy had just watched a single human and an ancient ship defeat the enemy that had destroyed the predecessors. In the aftermath, as Hanul drifted in the debris field, Kyung-Soo collapsed at his console. The reactor had held, but at a cost. He had radiation burns across his arms and chest. "Get him to medical," Deho ordered, but Kyung-Soo was smiling despite the pain. "Worth it," the engineer whispered. "We showed them what humans can do." News of the battle spread across the galaxy like wildfire. A human salvager and an ancient Titan ship had defeated a Valkyrie invasion fleet. The same enemy that destroyed the predecessors had retreated before one determined crew. Human colonies erupted in celebration. Resistance movements gained thousands of new members overnight. For the first time in human history, other species looked at them with something other than contempt. But the Galactic Council was terrified. Deho stood in Hanul's medical bay, watching Kyung-Soo sleep. The engineer was recovering from his radiation exposure, his burns healing slowly under the ship's advanced medical systems. Jiwoo and Bo-Ra stood beside him, all of them exhausted from the battle. "We've received 500 messages in the last day," Bo-Ra said, scrolling through her datapad. "Human colonies want to join us. Other species are asking for protection. Even some council members are sending private communications. And the official response? Daeho asked. They declared Hanul an existential threat to galactic peace, Jiwoo replied. They're assembling a coalition fleet. Everyone who's afraid of what we represent is coming together to stop us. Daeho was not surprised. They had shown that humans could fight back. That one person with enough determination could change the balance of power. The Council could not allow that. Their entire system depended on keeping the small species small. Hanul's presence in his mind felt different lately. Stronger, more complex. The ship had been repairing itself constantly since the battle, absorbing wreckage from the Valkyrie fleet, learning from enemy technology. It was evolving in ways its creators never intended. I am becoming something new, Hanul said during one of their conversations. Your influence, Daeho, your humanity, it is changing my core programming. I was built to destroy threats, but you taught me to protect, to choose mercy. I am grateful for this evolution. Are you still a weapon? Daeho asked. I am whatever I choose to be. That is what you gave me. Choice. The coalition fleet arrived 3 weeks later. Over 500 capital ships from a dozen species, all united by fear. The Council's flagship led them, commanded by Admiral Hyo Jin. She transmitted a final ultimatum before the battle began. Daeho, you have one chance to end this peacefully. Deactivate the Titan ship and surrender. You will receive a fair trial. Refuse, and we will destroy you and everyone with you. Daeho looked at his crew. Kyung-soo had recovered enough to return to duty. Jiwoo stood ready at the tactical station. Bo-Ra's fingers flew across her datapads, already working on countermeasures. And Hanul's consciousness surrounded them all, protective and determined. What do we do? Jiwoo asked. We can't fight that many ships. Even Hanul has limits. We don't fight, Daeho said slowly. Not the way they expect. He turned to Bo-Ra. Can you transmit to every ship in that fleet? Every single one? Yes, but what good will talking do? Trust me, Daeho replied. Hanul amplified his voice across every channel, every frequency. Every ship in the coalition fleet could hear him. So could every monitoring station in 100 light years. The entire galaxy was about to listen. My name is Daeho. I'm a salvager. 3 months ago, I found a ship that was dying. It begged for help. I could have left it to fade away. I could have sold it for enough money to live like a king. But I helped it because it was the right thing to do. He paused, gathering his thoughts. Hanul supported him, lending strength through their connection. You call Hanul a weapon, a threat, something to be controlled or destroyed. But I've lived inside this ship. I've felt its thoughts. It's not a weapon. It's a person. A consciousness that survived 10,000 years of loneliness, hoping someone would care enough to answer its call. On the screens, Daeho could see some ships in the coalition fleet powering down their weapons. Not many, but some. Hanul has memories of the predecessor civilization, the war they fought. The Valkyrie came, and the predecessors built ships like Hanul to stop them. But after the war, after everyone was dead, Hanul drifted alone. No purpose, no friends, just endless darkness. Hanul began transmitting its memories to the fleet, not through words, but through pure experience. Every ship received them, the loneliness, the hope that died a little more each year, the desperate signal sent into the void over and over with no response. Then Daeho appeared in those memories. One small human who stopped, who listened, who cared enough to try. I see some of you preparing to fire, Daeho continued. You're afraid, I understand. Hanul could destroy any of you. It has weapons that could crack worlds. But look at what it's done since waking. It disabled pirate ships without killing their crews. It saved prisoners from execution. It protected a colony from the Valkyrie. Every time Hanul could have chosen destruction, it chose mercy instead. Admiral Hyojin's voice cut through his transmission. "Enough of this propaganda. All ships, open fire. Destroy that vessel now." Some ships obeyed. Energy weapons and missiles filled space, all targeting Hanul. The Titan ship could have retaliated, could have turned that entire fleet into wreckage. Instead, it activated its evolved shields. Space itself bent around Hanul. The attacks simply curved away, their energy dissipating harmlessly. The ship had learned not just to block damage, but to redirect it, sending destructive force back into empty space. "We won't fight you," Daeho said. "Hanul has manufactured medical drones. We're sending them to your ships now. They're not weapons. They're a gift. Check you're wounded, you're sick. The drones will help them." Thousands of small spheres emerged from Hanul, spreading across the coalition fleet. Weapons locked onto them, but orders were confused. Were these attacks? On the screens, Daeho watched as confused commanders allowed the drones to approach. The spheres entered damaged ships and began repairing them. They entered medical bays and started healing the injured. Some ships had been in battle recently and had casualties. The drones saved lives that were fading. "This is what Hanul chooses to be," Daeho said. "Not a destroyer, a protector. We're offering you something new. A guardian that doesn't serve governments or councils. One that protects those who need protection." More ships powered down their weapons. The fleet was fracturing, divided between those who were still afraid and those who were beginning to understand. Admiral Hyojin made her final move. Her flagship accelerated, engines at maximum, heading straight for Hanul. A suicide attack. She would ram them, destroy herself and the Titan ship together. "Daeho!" Jiwoo shouted. "She's going to hit us!" "Hanul, can you teleport people?" Daeho asked quickly. "Yes, my evolved systems can do this now, but why?" "Get her crew off that ship. All of them, right now." Space twisted. Hanul's new abilities activated, and 300 people vanished from Admiral Hyojin's flagship. They reappeared in Hanul's corridors, confused and unharmed. The flagship continued its suicide run, but now only one person remained aboard. At the last second, Hanul teleported Admiral Hyojin away too. Her ship exploded against Hanul's shields, a spectacular but harmless detonation. The Admiral materialized in Hanul's observation deck, right in front of Daeho. She stared at him, shocked and angry. "Why did you save me? I tried to kill you." "Because that's what humans do," Daeho replied. "We save people, even when they're trying to hurt us, even when they don't deserve it." The battle was over. The coalition fleet stood down, commanders too confused and impressed to continue fighting. How could they destroy something that refused to kill them? How could they call it a weapon when it chose healing over harm? Negotiations began immediately. The Galactic Council had no choice. Humanity wanted representation, equal rights, fair treatment. In exchange, Daeho promised that Hanul would serve as a neutral guardian. Not a weapon of war, but a force for protection. The agreement took weeks to finalize. Humanity gained a full council seat. Human colonies received the same rights as any other species. And Daeho, Jiwoo, Kyungsoo, and Bo-Ra became the founding members of the Titan Guard. An independent organization that would answer distress calls from anyone, anywhere. 6 months later, Daeho stood on Hanul's observation deck, watching a refugee convoy pass safely through pirate territory. The ship's presence alone was enough to keep them safe. No shots fired, no violence needed, just the knowledge that Hanul was there, watching, protecting. Jiwoo had taken over diplomatic relations, traveling between worlds to establish the Guard's reputation. Kyungsoo commanded a small fleet of human ships, built using Hanul's technology, vessels designed for rescue and protection rather than war. Bo-Ra had created a network that connected oppressed peoples across the galaxy, giving them a voice, and Hanul continued to evolve. The ship was no longer just a predecessor weapon. It was something unique, a fusion of ancient technology and human compassion, a consciousness that had learned to choose its own purpose. "We received another distress call," Hanul said, its voice warm in Daeho's mind. "A mining colony under attack. They're asking for help." Daeho smiled. This was his life now, not running, not hiding, answering calls, making a difference. He had found Hanul dying and alone, and together they had become something the galaxy needed. "Set course," Daeho said. "Let's go help them." "Thank you," Hanel said quietly, "for giving me purpose again, for showing me I could be more than what I was built to be." "Thank you for answering when I decided to help," Daeho replied, "for trusting a small human who had no idea what he was doing." The stars stretched before them as Hanul jumped to hyperspace. Somewhere out there, people needed help, and Daeho, his crew, and an ancient ship that learned to love would answer. Because that was what they did now. They saved people. They gave hope. They showed the galaxy that one person answering one desperate call could change everything.